PECRON F3000LFP versus E3600LFP. And the real question is whether the pricier one earns that difference for you, because both hold the same 3072 watt-hours and both push 3600 watts, so you're not paying more for capacity. You're paying for faster charging, 30 amp EV power, and room to expand roughly twice as far. If your plan is a fridge and a router through an outage, that money might be wasted. By the end, you'll know which one fits your setup. Let's break it down. Let's start with the thing that actually decides this for most people, which is what happens the moment the grid drops and you need the fridge, the router, and maybe a work computer to stay alive. The F3000LFP switches over in 8 to 20 milliseconds, and that's fast enough that a computer and a monitor don't blink. There's an owner who's put it through around 40 outages over 5 months with the computer plugged into it, and nothing dropped, which is exactly the kind of long-run report I take seriously. The E3600LFP, for its part, has a UPS complaint that I can't ignore, because one owner went through 2 units and both slowly bled down to 0, while the front panel still claimed 80%, so the outage arrived and the battery was empty. That's one person with 2 units. Not a proven pattern across the model, but it's specific enough that if your plan is to leave it plugged in as a standby UPS for weeks, I'd want to verify the charge myself rather than trust the display. That's the outage. Getting the thing full again is where the E3600LFP starts earning its price. It takes up to 3200 watts of AC input with the 30 amp cable and refills in about an hour and 20 minutes, or 2 hours on the standard 15 amp cable. The F3000LFP maxes out at 1800 watts AC, so roughly 2 hours from empty. Solar is the bigger gap, though. The E3600LFP takes up to 2400 watts through 2 separate inputs, while the F3000LFP tops out at 1600 watts on a single input. Pay close attention to the panel voltage limits, because the E3600LFP wants 32 to 150 volts at 20 amps per input, and one owner running an off-grid container says that 20 amp ceiling makes sizing an array trickier than it should be. The F3000LFP accepts a wider 25 to 120 volt window, which is friendlier if you already own panels. Someone with a 400 watt panel reported pulling over 400 watts an hour into it, so it does what it says. The numbers look similar so far, but the plug layout is not. The F3000LFP gives you 13 outputs, 6 AC outlets, 200 watt USB-C ports, 2 USB-A, a carport, and 2 DC barrel outputs. That covers a house full of essentials. The E3600LFP has 16 outputs and, more importantly, a TT30 outlet and a 12-volt 30-amp DC output, which is the part RV and van people care about. One van owner runs 2 refrigerators, a fan, all the lights, and a 12-volt air conditioner off it. If you're plugging a 30-amp RV cord straight in, the F3000LFP is out. No adapter gymnastics will change that. One clarification on the listing, though, because those 5 AC outlets don't each deliver 3600 watts. That's the shared total for the whole unit. Expansion follows the same split. The F3000LFP takes 2 extra batteries to about 10,750 watt-hours. And heads up, the cascade cable for that isn't in the box, so budget for it and confirm it's actually available before you commit. The E3600LFP takes 4 batteries up to roughly 18,400 watt-hours. If you want 240 volt service, neither does it alone. But 2 E3600LFPs plus the hub gets you there, and the F3000LFP has no equivalent path. Real usable capacity is the quiet detail here. The F3000LFP has been measured drawing around 37 watts, just sitting there switched on, and owners see a few percent disappear overnight, so power it fully off between uses instead of just killing the AC and DC outputs. On the E3600LFP, independent hands-on testing found the idle draw low. Over a multi-day outage, the difference is real watt-hours. Controls split the same way. Both use an app that needs an account, and neither app is polished. The F3000LFP has pairing and Wi-Fi complaints, and the E3600LFP app can sit on stale numbers until you restart it. The difference is that the E3600LFP's front panel does enough on its own that you can skip the phone entirely. Which one buyer specifically went looking for? Weight and noise are worth a sentence. The F3000LFP runs about 63 pounds. The E3600LFP about 79. And at that point, you're buying the trolley. No fluff about it. Fans on both get audible under heavy load, and on the F3000LFP owners say it's loudest when it's charging hard and running a big load at once, so it's not a bedside unit. So where does that extra money go? The E3600LFP costs more, and you're buying almost twice the charging speed, half again the solar input, the 30-amp RV connection, and an expansion ceiling nearly double the other. The F3000LFP is the cheaper one, and it covers the same 3,072 watt-hours and 3,600 watts with lighter weight, an easier solar voltage window, and the faster documented UPS switching. Here's the call. For most people watching this, I'd take the F3000LFP because it costs less, it weighs less, and the switchover during an outage is the one thing that's been documented working over and over, which matters more to me than a spec sheet that reads better. But if you're pulling a 30-amp cord out of an RV or a van, that decision flips completely, and the E3600LFP is your only option here. No fluff. And if you're building toward a real off-grid system where you'll stack batteries for years, pay more and get the E3600LFP for the headroom. Just don't leave it sitting as a standby, UPS, without checking the charge yourself. And you, which one would you pick? Let me know in the comments. Links below in the description.